What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Godspeed ZRZ. Now today I'm extremely excited to share with you guys some new information I've just learned. Now I've had a Wrangler since the first day I had my driver's license, but no one's ever shown me this secret and I've never found it out before. Now I've got this video titled specifically for the JL Rubicons, and I know it works really well on the 392. I'm not sure about the 3.6 liter, the 2.0 liter, or even the 3.0 liter eco diesel, simply because I haven't got to test it out yet. Like I said, I just found out. I can only imagine that it will tremendously help your all's fuel economy, as I know that it has in the Rubicon 392. So we're gonna go ahead, load up, and go to the gas station. Obviously, since fuel has went up quite a bit here recently, I've thought about fuel economy a little bit more for the first time ever. We always focus on miles per gallon here, but unfortunately, there comes a certain point whenever you have to worry about miles per gallon. So we're gonna load up, go to the gas station, see what the price is today, top off on some fuel, and we'll get started. Guys, I honestly hope this is the first and the last video that we ever talk about fuel economy, really in anything. Now, of course, you guys know, if you've been following this channel, I drive the Rubicon 392. That's actually my daily for now, at least until I get the Camaro fixed. But with the 6.4 liter V8 motor, I think it's actually rated somewhere around maybe like 14 miles a gallon. So just jumping into it, even stock, you're not going to get too good a fuel economy. But to go beyond that, once you do start adding on some modifications, especially a different set of wheels, tires, lift kit, obviously we get below 10 miles a gallon pretty quick. With the current circumstances of our world right now, it is actually something that a lot of people are concerned about. So I did a little calculation last night. Of course, in our JLs, we've got a 21.5 gallon tank. Right now, the average cost of fuel for especially 93, which is what I run in this, the average cost is $5 where I'm at. Now, I work in the city and I get my fuel in the city a lot of the times, but I live about 20 minutes, 30 minutes outside. So our fuel prices are usually a difference of about 60 cents out here. So I want to go to this gas station and see, but from my calculations last night, just to fill up at, right at $5 a gallon, we're looking at about $107. And with $107 in the tank, with my average fuel economy being somewhere around 10 miles a gallon, even babying it, I'll end up maybe at 250 miles max. So you're paying about $107 for every 250 miles, which is absolutely insane to think about. Like I said before, we always just focus on miles per gallon. Never really concerned about miles per gallon, but right now a lot of people are. So I'm just going to make this video. Hopefully it'll help a bunch of you out. But we're pulling up to the gas station now. It looks like gas is actually decently cheap here. So diesel's $5.49, regular is $4.09. Let's see what premium is. Premium's only $4.69 here. I'll jump out, show you the prices, and we'll fill up. So just so you guys can see there, we're right at 1/8 of a tank, but we'll go ahead and fill up and see what it looks like. So as you guys can see here, we've got unleaded for $4.09. 89 is going to be $4.49, and then premium 93 is going to be $4.69. Like I said, pretty decent prices for what we've got going on right now. And we'll see what it takes to fill this thing up most of the way. Like I say, we started at a 1/8 of a tank. So strangely enough, an even $75 and 15 gallons tops us off. So we'll jump back in, we'll get to it. Now that we're all filled up, might as well enjoy one good rip, right? Unpatriotic to not want to pay these high fuel prices to cut out the natural resources we get from Russia. And with the Biden administration, they allegedly haven't cut back on any of our natural resource production. But with that being said, and obviously the talks of the 9,000 permits that we have on U.S. soil, on land, to actually, for the rigs to be running, what you don't realize and what you don't hear is in those 9,000 permits, they're on top of land that's already been expunged. They're not going to go back to places they've already been and got all the resources out of. And the biggest issue with the Biden administration is not being able to get new permits on the land that does have oil to be able to actually get it out. A lot of my opinions they don't fit with the mainstream, so I don't speak on them much. But beyond that, once we get back to the Jeeps, and of course with the fuel economy in mind, there are a couple different tricks that I've learned. So actually, last night I was driving back through tip I've found, especially in the 392, of course we do have these nice and fancy paddle shifters. They don't really shift the greatest, they don't work the best, but man, they are fun. So believe it or not, the automatic transmission that you have in your Jeep actually can shift more efficiently than you can. I know it's tough to believe, but in terms of fuel economy, fuel we're missing out on from Russia, which I believe is somewhere around 30%, with the restrictions we have, which are some of the tightest restrictions of any nation on obtaining our own natural resources. I just don't see how we're going to be able to combat it the way that everyone says we will be able to. Also, with that being said, it almost seems like the push towards clean energy is going to become more evident than ever. The push towards electric, which we've all talked about, we've all heard, all the manufacturers have already started making so many different electric variations. This isn't going to do anything but encourage the manufacturers to turn towards EVs more and more. Now, being in the automotive industry, specifically the car business, we are directly affected in my line of work, especially on the sales side. So a lot of the vehicles that are extremely nice, but usually the extremely nice are a little bit bigger, the powerful engines, anything like that. With the way customers are educated now, they will have the fuel economy stuck in the back of their head. And we really haven't had customers asking about fuel economy in a long time. It's really... in recent times, it hasn't been too big of an issue. But now, even just within the last week, the question of fuel economy is almost one of the top questions that we get. Which, to have that drastic of a change in just a matter of a week or so, I mean, obviously that's what you're going to get. And if you've stuck with me this far, I'll at least tell you this. On the highway, even on the interstate, at certain RPMs, all of our Jeeps, at least the JLs, are equipped with cylinder deactivation. So whether you've got the V6 or the V8, I don't believe the 4-cylinder does it, because they cut down to 4 cylinders at certain RPMs, and that does allow for a little bit better fuel consumption. It's not anything great. It's already doing it itself. Now, your auto stop-start button, most of the JLs have that. In the 392, they didn't even mind. They didn't even bother with putting it in, because I'm sure they knew we were just going to turn it off. But you do have some things from Chrysler that do help you on your fuel economy. But really and truly, talking about a Jeep, you're never really going to get too good of fuel economy if it's a real Wrangler. That's just something that we have to accept as Jeep customers. Now, I don't see this spike in fuel prices lasting forever, but it probably could run well into the end of summer, especially with the gas companies, with the oil companies being able to take a little bit more profit, which they're taking advantage of the times that they've been presented. So I'd say that the spike in fuel, whether the war in Ukraine is over or not, I'd say it will probably last until the end of summer, to when traveling kind of dies back down again. And that's just my honest opinion, but I don't really see any other option being more likely than that. I believe the average right now nationally is right around $4 and maybe $4.10, something like that. I believe we'll see an average of somewhere right over $5 nationwide before we actually see a halt to the rising in price. With all that being said, no matter what you're in, if you're in a Jeep, a truck, or a car, it is extremely easy to get better fuel economy, and I believe you'd be surprised what your car or what your vehicle is actually capable of, especially these Jeeps. If you do drive them like a grandma, if you baby them, they actually respond to that pretty well. Now, it obviously is going to feel sluggish, it'll do this, it'll do that. If you leave your transmission in standard drive, you don't mess with the gears, whether you're in any of the variations of motors that Chrysler offers, if you don't accelerate quite as fast as you have been, if you allow it to coast down hills, there's a lot of different ways to get better fuel economy, and really your driving characteristics, your driving habits are the first thing to tackle if you're looking for better fuel economy. The way that Chrysler has their transmissions tuned and how they have their and set up, it can be used to your advantage to get pretty good fuel economy. I did a little test the other day on a stock Rubicon with the 3.6 liter. Now on mine, I got an average of 18 miles a gallon stock with the way I drove it normally. Once I had 38s on, I got an average of 12 miles a gallon. And then with the 40s, I got an average of right under 10 miles a gallon, maybe right at 10 miles a gallon. Keep in mind, at the time, I did live in southwestern Virginia in the mountains, and now I live, around Nashville area, and it's pretty flat around here. Of course, we have like long hills, this and that, but you're not constantly going up and down mountains. With the Rubicon 392, I get an average, whenever it was stock, I was getting an average of about 13.5 miles a gallon. Now I get an average somewhere right around maybe 11 to 10 with just 35s and the exhaust. But with my test on the 3.6 liter Rubicon, on the interstate, I was able to get 21 miles a gallon, which is pretty impressive for any SUV, mid-size, full-size. It's pretty impressive. And in town, in the city, actually driving it through the city, I was able to obtain 18 miles a gallon, which was better than my combined fuel economy with my standard Rubicon in the past. So guys, in all honesty, with that being said, I know a lot of people are focused on their fuel economy at this point, and that may dictate some of their decisions, some of their purchases in the upcoming future. But I just wanted to basically throw out my opinion and also give you guys a little bit of confidence in terms of your own vehicle that you have now. And it is really easy to actually achieve better fuel economy just based off of your driving characteristics. To wrap it all up, guys, in times like this, we really just have to put our trust into the Lord and let Him take the best course of action, because we don't know what's going to happen and we don't know what we need to do. I was about to give you guys a goodbye rip, but I just passed the 5-0. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. As always, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. I hope this video may help someone out, at least give them a little bit more confidence on the vehicle they do have now, and that with simple changes in your driving habits, you can achieve better fuel economy. We'll get through the times we're in now, and hopefully we'll see cheaper gas prices here in the near future. But until next time, guys, just take it easy.